Hey guys, Mary from SVG Cuts here with my brand new Christmas tree project. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and I can't wait to see how it looks in white. I also can't wait to see how yours looks when you put yours together. So I love the way that it looks in the dark green because my favorite Christmas tree that my grandma made for me actually is all green, and so that was kind of like my favorite one is green is what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to make mine in green first, but the white ones are also really lovely. So I'm going to make it in white next, and I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised with how it looks in white, because the light from the candle lamp, when it shines through the white one, you can't see it in the green, but you'll be able to see it in the white or the ivory paper. And the tabs on the inside are also shaped like pretty, scalloped, branchy looking. So I think it's going to look really cool. I can't wait to see. And I got some clear bulbs for that one. So that's going to be really neat. So I really like the way this looks with the green with the colored bulbs. And I put a much brighter bulb inside of my candle. Instead of the 7-watt incandescent bulb, I got some LED bulbs they're actually only 3 and 4 watts, but they're the equivalent of 60 watts or 40 watts of an incandescent bulb. So it doesn't get hot, it doesn't go over the wattage. Well, I'm assuming it doesn't get hot. Let's see. Oh, it does get warm. So, but of course, you're not going to want to leave this unattended, obviously, since it's paper and it's a electric lamp in there. Just definitely do not leave it unattended, on and unattended. So inside the white one, I think I might just use the regular bulb that came with the candle. We'll see how bright that is just here in a moment when I put it together. And the cool thing is, it's actually, when you take it step by step, it's actually very straightforward to put it together. It actually is made up of 8 sides, and all 8 sides are made up of these 2 pieces. So we're going to fold these in a specific way, and I have a little diagram that comes in your PDF. I'll show you here in just a moment, but it shows you exactly how to fold it, or you can watch me do it, and however works best for you. And then we're just going to glue all 8 of those together side to side to make the tree. And then the base is very straightforward. So the paper that I used on the bottom for the patterned panels is by Cartabella, and it's called A Very Merry Christmas, and I love it. I'm hoping to have time to use some more of this paper before it's too late, because it's awesome. But like I always say, whatever kind of paper you have in mind that you want to use, it's going to look really cool. I think it would also be neat to do the base just all in like a cream white ivory plain and maybe emboss it a little bit, just keep it simple. So whatever you are inspired to do is going to look awesome. So again, if you have any questions about the supplies that I used, you can look below this video or on this page to see links to exactly what I purchased. So you can go ahead and check that out. And I've got all my pieces cut out to put my tree together. So let's get started. So first of all, for our tree, we have 8 pieces that look like this and 8 that look like this. So I'm going to use the folding diagram that's on page 3 of your PDF, and it shows if you want to put ink on the edges of these, the little stars show you where you can put the ink, or if you want to just ink, if you want to keep it more straightforward and ink everything, you can. But since a lot of these tabs are going to be hidden, I figured you could skip inking certain ones if you want to. And again, the inking is totally optional too. So for my first project, I inked the edges of these shapes with a lighter green ink pad called Pistachio by Colorbox. I think it brought out the shapes more, and I just liked the way that it looked, but you don't have to do that. And actually on this white tree, actually on this ivory tree that I'm making now, I'm not going to ink it, which is pretty unusual for me. I usually ink everything. So I'm going to start by creasing every single fold, just regular mountain fold. Like this is a mountain fold and this is a valley fold. So first I'm going to mountain fold everything. And then I'm going to go back and valley fold some of them the way that it shows in the diagram. So everything is folded over, and this is going to go like this, and then we want the other pieces to be folded in a valley fold. So I think it helps if you lay it down on a flat surface to fold those. So I'm folding these the way that it shows here. And one more. And now it is folded the way that it shows in the diagram. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this part down. And it doesn't take a lot of glue for these to hold together. You don't need to like cover the entire piece with glue. And that's that. So you can take the other 7 that you have like this and do the same exact thing. And I think it helps to, you know, have one kind of completed first, and you can set it down and look at it while you fold the other 7 shapes that are just like that. So we're going to do the same thing with this big one. Just, it's all this, you know, same kind of principle, just bigger and more complex. So I'm going to start by folding every crease the regular way, which to me is mountain fold, regular. So again, all I'm doing is just going around and folding every single part that is scored. I think I need to turn up the pressure on I use Ecal by Sure. It's like Sure Cuts a lot for the Eclipse, the Sizzix Eclipse. I think I need to go in there and turn up my scoring pressure a little bit, because usually it's a little easier to see and fold. Let's see. take a moment, see how we're doing here. Looks like I got it going on here. Getting close. Okay, so everything is folded, just folded over, and now we want to have certain folds be valley folds instead of mountain. Right now they're all mountain folds, and we want some to be valley. So you can follow the diagram, or you can follow along with me. I actually think it might be easier to kind of explain what I'm thinking here. I don't know what's easier for you to follow, a diagram, or just follow along, or kind of understand a little bit more, or if it's like not necessary to, maybe just to visualize what's kind of happening could help a little bit. So basically we're creating these little points, and these fold over like this, and then the outside folds up. So next I'll put some glue on the back side of this and fold that over. And then underneath it, fold that backwards and put some glue here. And fold that over. Then this piece fold towards me, as well as this piece. And under here, and then this is going to go like this. And this one will fold towards me, as well as this one. This one will fold towards me, and this is going to go like this. And then this one I'll fold towards me too. And there we have it. That's exactly how you want it to end up. So you can go ahead and do that to the other 7 pieces that are just like this. Next, I'm going to glue these 2 together like this. So we're going to do that for all 8 of each. So there's 8 of these, 8 of these. We're going to glue all of them together just like this. So I'll put some glue here and back here. And glue that together, just like that. So go ahead and do that for all 8 segments. So now that you've got all 8 like this, I'm going to glue them together 2 by 2 first. So I'm going to glue these 2 together side to side. And there's not really a wrong way to do it. You could overlap them however you want, whatever's easier. It's going to look really pretty no matter which way you do it. And by that I mean for each seam, you can put it like this, or you can put it like this. And then here you could put it like this, or you could put it like this. Same for all the way down. all the way down to the bottom. So in theory, I think it looks nice when, if you're given a choice for something to be on top like this, if that makes any sense, as opposed to like this next one here. I think it looks pretty for this to be showing on the top instead of the bottom having something pretty on it, because you see more of the top. So for example, here there's an option, you could have something pretty on the bottom or have something pretty on the top of this one instead, which that's how I'm going to put mine together, with things on the top like this, and then also down here. But like I said, no wrong way to do it. If you find it to be easier to do it a different way, or if you aren't feeling like being really meticulous, or you just think it's pretty, however, I'm totally with you. I'm just showing you how I'm doing mine. But so you want to start, if possible, by kind of guiding them a little bit into place. Like, I know they're not going to stay where you want them to be, and I hope that's not frustrating, but you kind of want to guide them into place a little bit, like I've done just here. And then we can start on the bottom with some glue. So I'm kind of holding them together loosely as I glue this down. And then we'll go back and glue the inside ones down also. And the glue doesn't need to be perfectly distributed on the little shape. Even just a couple dots is totally fine. And for whatever reason, the glue doesn't seem to like shine through, like when the light shines through the paper, I don't think you see where the glue is, which is good. So I'm making this look pretty easy because I have done this over and over and over and over. When I made my first tree, I made a prototype of it, and then I made it again. And then I did some pre-assembly on some of these for this video, so I have a lot of practice with this. It takes a minute to kind of get the hang of what I'm doing here. So don't beat yourself up if you don't feel like it's quite as like elegantly assembled for you at this moment. Just be patient with yourself, and before you know it, you will just one by one have them in place where you want them, and it's all good. And the cool thing is too that you don't need to stress out if it's not lined up like super meticulously. Sometimes you can see the light shining through some of these little gaps where they meet up, but since there are these pretty little holes everywhere with light shining out, it's really not the end of the world if your tree is not technically perfect. Mine's not perfect, but when it's so pretty, you really don't notice. So now I'm going to go from the inside and glue down these tabs. And you could even leave them unglued down, which would look really cool. I'm just kind of worried maybe about the paper sitting there touching the bulb. Maybe if they're not glued down is the only thing. But that's probably not really a concern. I don't know. That might even create more of a cool shadow effect inside if it's not glued down. But that's something, if you feel like playing around with, you could do that. Just be extra careful to not leave your project unattended either way, just to be on the safe side, because this has not been This has not been tested in the UL laboratories. So, making our way down, and you can go ahead and do this to the others. Just pair them up 2 by 2. So next I'm going to take my bulbs and put them in. You probably didn't see that coming, but I just think it's easier to do at this point. You could do it closer to the end probably, but I think that I just think it's a good time to do it now, because then you can really kind of work with it better and kind of you know, support this piece as you're jamming that thing in there, because if you can't really support it from the inside, you might kind of smush your little branches or something. So they fit nice and snugly in there, and I'm just kind of twisting it, pushing it pretty hard, and they really stay put for the most part. So you can go ahead and put all of your bulbs in. So next I'm going to glue 2 of my segments together to create half of the tree. And I'm just going to do it the same way that I did before. It's just getting a little bit more challenging because of the complexity of everything, but it's going to go together the same exact way. So if at all possible, you kind of want to get it sort of going in the direction that you want it, but I know that's a lot easier said than done. It does not want to stay in place very much at all, and I don't blame it, because it's a pretty crazy thing we're doing here. But if you can generally get it going in the direction of your choosing, that's kind of awesome. So next, I would like to anchor the bottom in place, just like we did before. It's the same exact process, it just takes a little bit of extra time because it is getting to be kind of unwieldy and large. But you can do it. I've done it a couple times. Just keep your patience intact and don't be too hard on yourself. And just hold it together as it dries. Take your time. So, by some miracle, mine it's behaving the way that I want it to, which is really cool, with the tabs being positioned where I want them. I'm going to go jump up to the top and anchor this in place before it changes its mind and comes apart a little bit. So I'm really going to hold this for some extra time as it dries so that it doesn't slip apart as soon as I let go of it. So next, I'm going to anchor the middle in place here. And it really doesn't take meticulous glue, even just a couple dots of glue will do. I'm going to go up to the top and glue this. Put some dots on this piece here and fold that around and hold that as it dries. Then I'm just going to carefully start securing things in place here, one by one. So now I'm going to go ahead and secure the ones on the inside. A couple dots of glue here, a couple there, and hold it while it dries. There's my kitty cat. Hi. So after you've got that glued together, you can do the same thing with the other two segments. And then, as you guessed, we're just going to do the same thing again, putting the two halves together. So same exact way, just Just putting it together the same way and kind of guiding it into place a little bit, if possible, before you get going. So now you've got your whole tree together. It's just a matter of sewing up or gluing together the seam, the final seam. And that's going to be the same way, just slightly more challenging because of the shape of everything, but totally doable. So again, if possible, if you can kind of guide your pieces where you want them a little bit. So now I am going to jump up to the top, almost to the top, and put some glue on this little part here, as well as on the inside here. And then carefully So next I'm going to put some on this guy here. And I'm doing my best to kind of create a little cradle on the inside where there's a fold, and use that to kind of push against this fold and line it up and get it secure with that glue on it. And anything that has come undone a little bit. Then you can take a look from the inside and see if there's anything that still needs to be glued down, and glue that down. Next, we can go ahead and put our star in our tree, and it's just made up of these two pieces. And I'm going to glue the stars together, but I'm going to leave the bottom unglued so that we can attach it inside. So first I'll just put some glue on the inside of the star. And attach these two. And then I'm going to put it inside my tree like this, and basically I'm just going to open it up from the inside, kind of like a brad, and glue it in place. So I'll put some glue on the bottom of both parts here, put it inside, and reach up from the inside and open that up. Might be a little bit tricky. Let's get it going first a little bit better. Maybe add some more glue. And then I'm kind of pinching it closed. And just carefully holding it, pressing it onto both sides. Doing my best to make it more or less straight up and down. So you want to make sure this is nice and secure before we put our bottom on, which we'll do next. So the bottom of the tree here is made up of these two pieces, and we're going to put this one on first, and it's shaped like this so that we can easily glue it onto all the bottom tabs and still get your hand inside. So first I'm going to anchor one of these, and all 8 sides are the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you glue where. So we want to anchor this in place, and then we'll glue the others on the same way. So once it has taken hold, I'm going to bend it out of the way and put some glue on all of these tabs going around. And then guide everything into place as it dries. And if any of your bulbs are kind of coming out, you can put them back in. Even if they completely fall out, you can always put it back in carefully. So next, we can cover this whole thing with glue and put the other bottom part on. And I'm just going to glue that right onto the bottom there. So next, for the base of the tree, this is what it looks like finished. This is my original one that's red with these patterned panels on it, and the candle lamp is securely in there, and the cord comes out the back just like this. So this is what we're going to make next. So as you can see, the base is made up of this like short layer here. It's like 2 parts, the short part and then the taller part. So first we're going to put together that bottom short part. And for that we have the 2 sides here, and there are 7 little panels like this, and I went ahead and glued all those on except for one here. I'll do that. And then this one's missing a panel because it would be too skinny to go around, really. Then there are 4 pieces like this. You just want to glue those on top of each other. So that's all 4 glued together there. And then we can glue that right inside, right here. And that's going to reinforce that hole nice and sturdy for the cord to go through. Then we've got the top of it and the bottom, and then these 2 pieces which have little holes, they're the same size. These are all the same size, and these ones with the tiny holes are just for support. So I'm going to start by gluing these 2 together side to side like this. And then if you have some scrap paper or a piece of cardboard, it's a good time to get that out because we might get some glue on your work surface here. So this can go either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to decide that that's the bottom. I'm going to bend these top ones slightly out of the way. Like this. Then I'm going to take one of these that has the small hole in it and put some glue all the way around the edge of it and put that right inside the bottom. Then we can take some glue and put that all over the bottom. And glue this piece that doesn't have any holes in it right onto the bottom. And then we can put our final reinforcing piece here right inside. Next, you can take your candle lamp that's going to go right inside and grab some scissors. And this is a little crazy, but we're just going to go right in the center here and just snip that in half. And you want to feed your wire through carefully, just kind of spread that apart and feed that in there. And then bend those back down. And this is going to go right over the top like this. So we can cover this with glue. You want to make sure those are angled up just a little bit so that they make contact with the piece that we're going to put on top. And a little extra glue won't hurt. And place that right on the top. So now for the next part of the bottom, we've got the two sides here. I went ahead and glued my panels on, which I embossed with this embossing folder from Cartabella called Christmas Magic. And I already put the other 7 panels on. I'll put the final 8th one on here. And then I can glue these together side to side. Then we just have 2 more pieces. This is the bottom, this is the top. I'm going to go ahead and put the top on first because you're not really going to see the bottom, and I think the first one that you put on is easier to make look more perfect. So you just want to line up those sides nicely. Make sure that they're lined up edge to edge, then we can flip it over and press down on that. Then we can cover the bottom of this part with glue and put the next final piece on the bottom. So when I first did this, when I made my first one, I did it a little more precisely. It looks like I kind of goofed up a little bit. I didn't glue it super perfectly, but if you think yours could be a little better and you want to trim it up, you can do that. Not a big deal. If you even wanted to get more precise, you could get a little sandpaper out and sand it a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it. So next, you can take your bulb out of your candle and this is just going to fit right over the top there. So we'll just cover this with some glue. And center that right one on top of the other. So now, here comes the moment of truth. I'm so excited. I'm going to put the regular bulb that came with the candle back in, and I'm going to plug it in and see how bright it is. Since it's white, it might shine through. Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. If you want it to be even brighter, you can use one of the lights that I mentioned, such as this, it's only 3.2 watts, which is under the wattage. This has to be 7 watts or less. So this is only 3.2 watts, but it's the equivalent of a 40 watt bulb because it's LEDs. So it's brighter without being too much. So let's plug that in. Ooh, way brighter. So cool. So you can see how the tabs on the inside shine through with the shadows, and I think that is super cool. So that's it. I hope you love your project. I hope it looks awesome. I want to see. You'll have to share a picture on Facebook or Instagram, your blog, Pinterest. However you are most comfortable sharing is great. I love seeing, and so do the rest of our crafty friends. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.